In the earlier session, we have discussed about short-run cost functions. Now let us discuss long-run cost functions. Basically, we need to discuss about long-run cost and long-run marginal cost and long-run average cost. First of all, what is long run? Long run is a planning horizon. Indeed, all economic activity takes place in the short run, and an entrepreneur plans in the long run and operates in the short run. Before an investment is made, he will take into consideration the long range view and different sizes of plants available, the cost, and then unit cost of production, and he will take into consideration several factors before investing. And once the funds are invested and once a particular size of machinery is purchased, then he operates in that. He has to operate with that machine. That is, he is in the short run. So the best way to summarize is an entrepreneur plans in the long run and operates in the short run. So to explain the long run average cost, take the case of an entrepreneur who wants to install a particular given type of machinery, and the technology is such that there are three types of machinery available. The first one is small sized machine and medium sized one and a large sized machine. So in the industry, there are three types of machines available: small size machine, medium size and large size machine. Suppose if you draw the machinery, the short run average cost curve associated with each plant, the small sized machine give rise to SAC1, short run average cost curve 1. And medium sized machine, because it is more efficient and the unit cost will be less compared to the smaller one. So the medium sized machine would be like this, SAC2. This is short run average cost curve associated with the medium sized machine. And large size machine is still more efficient, and by using this you can reduce the unit cost still further. So this will be like this. This is SAC3. So suppose here you see both the small size machine and medium size machine, they give rise to same unit cost. Here also same unit cost. Suppose OX1 or OX2. At OX1, the small size machine 1 or medium size machine, they give rise to same cost. And similarly at OX2, medium size machine and larger size machine give rise to same cost. Here, whether he will use a smaller machine or medium or large, depends not on the basis of lowest cost, but something else. For example, he may go in for smaller machine because per unit cost is low, or he may go in for medium machine, keeping in mind the future expansion possibilities. Similarly, medium or large. So here the decision is not on the basis of least cost per unit of output, but on the basis of something else. Imagine he has three options whether to go in for smaller machine, medium machine or larger machine. Suppose the desired rate of output, the entrepreneur anticipates that the desired rate of output is OX. Suppose that is the profit maximizing or desired rate of output or the required rate of output for this particular entrepreneur. He wants to produce only OX units. Then he cannot employ a very large machine or medium machine. Let us see, he will employ a smaller one, and per unit cost is OC1. If the desired rate of output is OX, he will buy smaller machine, and per unit cost is given by SAC1. and OC1 is cost per unit. Okay. Now, by expanding output from OX towards this, he has an advantage because he can reduce unit cost to this is the minimum point of AC. There is a possibility of reducing unit cost below OC1 by expanding towards beyond X. Okay. Suppose the desired rate, there is a demand for the product. Initially he started with OX and later the product got demand for in the market, and there is a need to expand output. But in the short term, he has no option. He has to operate with the same machine. Suppose the desired output is, imagine this is OX1 dash. Demand increases from OX to OX1 dash, imagine. Now he can do it with the same machine. In the short term, he has no option. With the same machine, he can produce OX1 dash units of output at the same rate of OC1 per unit. That's all he can do in the short run. But at the time of replacement, certainly he will not replace this machine with another smaller one. At the time of replacement, he will go in for a medium machine because he can reduce the unit cost to OC2 per unit. Understand? So OC2 with at the time of replacement, by going for a medium machine, the unit cost per unit becomes OC2. So this is the heavily shaded line. We call it as LAC. He has no relevance for this. In the long run, in the short run he will operate, and in the long run, this is the relevant portion. These are the relevant portions. So he will not, in the long run, this will not be there. In the short run, he has to operate, but in the long run, what is relevant for this individual is the heavily shaded line like this is called LAC. Now let us explain the same with another curve. So here we have assumed only 3 types of plants available. Imagine there are 6 plants available. LAC is called a planning curve or envelope curve. That means it envelopes all the short run situations. By reference to LAC, the entrepreneur selects a particular type of plant or size of plant, which gives rise to least cost of production. So LAC is a long planning curve, or also called as envelope curve. It envelopes all the short-term situations, and by reference to LAC, the entrepreneur selects a particular plant which gives rise to least unit cost of output. This is LAC. Look at the shape of LAC. It is also like U-shaped one, just like SAC. It is also U-shaped, but the U shape is less pronounced here. It is more flat compared to short-run average cost. Long-run average cost is more flat. The U shape is less pronounced. We will see the reasons for the curvature of LAC later. Let us derive the LAC. For example, it envelopes the short-run situations like so there are, say, 1, 2, 3, 4 plants given. There are different 4 plants, and each give rise to each separate short-run average cost curve. So at point A, he is producing with OX1 rate of output operating with plant A, a smaller plant SAC1, and this is the least unit cost. By expanding output to beyond OX1, he can say point A to B, unit cost can be reduced, but unit cost can be still reduced by going for SAC2, that is at point A, unit cost is OC1. Unit cost can be reduced by expanding towards B or up to this level. And with a new year plant, the unit cost can still reduce from B to C. So it envelopes all the short-term situations. So LAC is called planning curve or envelope curve, and it envelopes all short-term situations. And by reference to LAC, a person has to select the particular required size of plant. Now, we have seen short-term average cost, SAC and SMC, and now we have seen long-run average cost, LAC, and long-run marginal cost, LMC, like this. The reasons for the curvature of SAC and SMC can be explained with the help of theory of production or production with one variable input, that is based on average product, marginal product relations. We have explained average cost and marginal cost relations earlier. And LAC is initially declines, reaches minimum, and then rises. The declining portion of LAC is because of economies of scale, and the rising portion of LAC because of diseconomies of scale. So economies of scale and declining portion of LAC are the two sides of the same coin. And LMC initially declines, reaches minimum, and also increases, and increasing it intersects LAC at its minimum point. These are the relations. And what would be the real shape of LAC? And empirical studies proved that LAC is saucer shaped like this. So this is economies of scale, and this will be continued for a period, and then only diseconomies take place, giving rise to rising portion of LAC. So LAC is usually saucer shaped, and so long as the firm maintains control over its operations, or economies of scale are continued, or it avoids the diseconomies, the U shape becomes a saucer shape. This is the shape of LAC, and this is LMC. Now, we can also explain the derivation part of LMC. Those who want to have simple relations between LAC and LMC, they can present the shape of LAC and LMC like this. And if you want to derive long-run marginal cost, we can explain with the help of the following diagram. That is a derivation of LMC. Let us see. This is LAC. And imagine only two situations. One is the least point here, SAC 2, and another SAC 1. Imagine only two situations. So this is a short-run average cost, and this is short-run marginal cost 1, and this is SAC 2, and this is SMC 2. And this is LAC. LAC is envelope curve. It envelopes all the short-term situations. Planning curve or envelope curve. Now, there are two important points you have to remember. One is, we know that MC intersects AC at its minimum point here, and similarly MC equals AC at its minimum point here. Okay. Average cost and marginal costs are equal when AC is at its minimum point. That relation we know. Now, identify the point where SAC is a tangential to LAC here, for example, corresponding to this OX rate of output. SAC is a tangential to LAC. So at that point, LMC is equal to SMC, where SAC is a tangential to LAC at that rate of output. MC, long-run marginal cost and short-run marginal costs are equal here. And before this, LMC exceeds, and after this, LNC lies below it like this. This is LNC, derivation of LNC. Let us explain why it is so. We say that at OX1, SAC1 is tangential to LAC, and this point of tangency, it implies that both long run marginal cost and short run marginal cost are equal here. Why? Let us see, at this point, what is the short run average total cost? The average cost into number of units gives you total cost. So, short run total cost at OX level of output, short run total cost is equal to long run total cost at this point, because this point is on short run as well as LAC also, SAC and LAC. So at corresponding to OX level of output, short run total cost is equal to long run total cost. And below this, for example, say this level of output, you will see that SAC is more than LAC. That means short run total cost is greater than long run total cost for output OX1 dash. So for movement from OX1 dash to OX, what happens? If you move from OX1 dash to OX, you are moving from a point where short run total cost is more than long run total cost to a point where these two are equal. Short run total cost is exceeding long run total cost to a point where short run total cost is equal to long run total cost. That means the extra to the long run must be